I'll take it. I didn't miss. Never mind. All right, we're good now. We're back on Inside the Diamond, episode 24. Here on X or YouTube, wherever you're tuning in from. We appreciate you coming by, spend a little bit of time with us to talk some baseball today. Ethan, it's a long weekend for both of us. I know you worked a little bit. I didn't work, but I did actually get to go down to Miami and see the Yankees get swept by the Miami Marlins in Lone Depot.
Yeah, fun weekend with the friends for you, man, but not in terms of the Yankees. They've been playing some absolutely shit baseball recently.
It's brutal, and I thought I'd go see it in person, and it's just been a rough go at it the last year for me to go see Yankee baseball in person. I saw them get blown out by the Orioles by 12 runs on my birthday, and then after that lose game 3 of the World Series, and then lose to the Marlins on Sunday. Saturday and Friday, all 3 of those games. I only saw the game on Sunday, thankfully. If I went to more than one of those games, I would have been probably.
We wouldn't be going live. No, we wouldn't be going live.
No, not at all. And after the Grisham leadoff homer yesterday, I would have thought that maybe it would have ended a little differently for the Yanks. But Kyle Stowers, man, he's something to watch.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you saw Kyle Stowers' home run. He's just been simply one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a hot stretch, but I mean, we're in August and he's still continuing to mash.
Yeah, he's thrown himself into the MVP conversation almost, not as a serious, he will win candidate, but as a guy who's he's playing so dominant where you can't ignore his name anymore in the combo. He is that good. And we're going to get into all that here in a little bit, because with that thought, we kind of thought, maybe we take this show to talk about some early second half standouts. We talked about a lot of standout players earlier on in the show's history, back in April and May. We talked about a lot of guys that were having hot stretches, and we thought maybe we'd bring that thing a little bit back here. So we're just going to pretty much take some time today to talk about some guys that have stood out in the second half so far. and talk about maybe whether or not we think it's sustainable, whether or not we think it is a hot stretch, and who knows, maybe some of these guys are the next Kyle Stowers here for the rest of the 2025 season. So, Ethan, I'm gonna let you take it away for the first guy that you have. Not sure who you're about to talk about here. We didn't really do much prep for this show, so
love me some Daddy Stowers, man. Love me some Daddy Stowers. Toby, it would be borderline disrespectful if we're not talking about Nicholas J. Kurtz. The man has been, let alone in the second half, he has been one of the best hitters in baseball since the call-up. I think he has 20-plus home runs in 66 games. Over his last 15 games, Toby, 6 bombs, 17 RBIs, striking out less than 20%. He's hitting .474, a .545 OBP, .982 slug. To put into perspective, there is no one even remotely close to that slugging percentage in the second half. The second highest is Shea Langoliers at .825. Nick Kurtz has a .311 WRC plus. I have never seen an impact player just come up and immediately just start producing at the MLB level. There has not been a skip since his transition from AAA to the MLB level. And the stuff we're seeing is just remarkable. He's hitting the ball over the field, especially the opposite way. We talk a lot about James Wood hitting baseballs to the opposite field, no doubt home runs, harder than most guys pull the baseball. Nick Kurtz has one almost every single game. And we saw it immediately with his 4 home run game against the Astros, one of the best games in MLB history, if not the best game. And he's just continuing to produce at an insanely high level. And the Jacob Wilson American League Rookie of the Year talks are way out the window, especially with the injury. Yeah. Nick Kurtz is just rolling right through Jacob Wilson and anyone else in that crowd for the AL Rookie of the Year. He's been fantastic.
We talked about not too long ago, like maybe 2 weeks ago, about how this AL Rookie of the Year race was going to come down to the wire. And we knew it was going to be Kurtz and Wilson. We just didn't know which one it was going to be. We kind of, I don't want to say we know, because Kurtz could slump like badly for maybe the last month. I don't think that's going to happen, but we kind of now know. 15 games in the second half, he's almost got 2 F4. And I didn't know this until I actually looked at it like 30 seconds ago, but the 2 highest F4s in the second half so far both belong to guys on the Sacramento A's, which I think is pretty cool. Shea Langoliers has been unbelievable as well, like you kind of already mentioned there. But dude, what Kurtz is doing, unbelievable. I don't think this was on anybody's radar. I don't know if this was on Nick Kurtz's radar either.
No, like not on Kurtz. Not on Kurtz's radar. Maybe his brother's radar. He's definitely been very high on the Kurtz train. But I mean, yeah, the fact that the Sacramento A's have 2 of the top guys in the second half, and dude, good for Shea Langoliers. I mean, I don't know if you want to kind of cover the numbers or if you want me to, but I mean, Langoliers 1.4 F4 in the second half, 7 bombs, 14 RBIs, walking not too much. Average is around 400. OBP's over 400. He's slugging .825. And, you know, we talked about the 2 top in F4. They're the 2 top in slugging percentage, too.
Yeah.
With a .239 WRC plus. The A's have such a great young core of players led by those 2, with Jacob Wilson, with Brent Rooker, with Denzel Clark, with Lawrence Butler. They have such a good core of young players. And the fact that they're getting production from all over the lineup now is just fantastic to see.
Yeah, I mean, what you get from Langoliers defensively is already pretty damn good, especially with the pop time there. It's some of the best in baseball. But when you get him hitting like this, it's really fun to watch. When we see Shea Langoliers turn into Shea Bangoliers and start hitting bombs, and, you know, he really just starts to turn it up behind the plate too. So I love seeing these 2 start to play really good. I feel like just watching this A's team, it's always going to be a fun watch regardless of what their record is. And
right,
they just got a lot better in the deadline too, I thought. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch for the years to come if they can get a future infield with guys like Leo DeVries and Nick Kurtz in there at the same time. Is that not going to be the most fun team to watch in all of baseball?
That core is going to be nasty, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, even guys like Max Muncy, like, dude, they have a lot of dudes in the lineup that are just going to be formidable for years to come.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't want to take away from the A's here too quick, but we have started off talking about them here for a good amount of time. So I want to keep it moving to a guy that had a just abysmal first half of the season. Like, I think a lot of people were kind of writing this guy off, like, to never hype up again going into a season because of how bad his first half was. But Michael Harris has really turned around his second half. And, you know, granted, it's only 15 games. He's hitting 400. He's slugging 700 as well. And his WRC plus at 212 as well was at 477. He's got a few homers. He's got 10 runs, 6 RBIs. Advanced profile doesn't look any good at all, but his fielding profile looks really good. And if you've got his bat doing this and you've got his glove doing what it does on a daily basis, probably one of the few things you could actually write home about with the Braves right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us had Michael Harris like in MVP kind of talks going into the year. Kind of had a down year last year with some injury riddled stuff. I think he just has to kind of stay healthy, and maybe next year is the year where like we finally see kind of that breakout. I know we saw it in his rookie year where he was absolutely incredible. He was solidifying himself as, without a doubt, a top 3 to top 5 center fielder. And when Michael Harris is driving the ball the other way, we saw it in Arlington. I think he was a single away from the cycle in that game, but he had 2 actually opposite field home runs in that series. When Michael Harris is doing damage the other way and he's still able to pull baseballs with the best of them, that's when you're seeing the best from Michael Harris.
Yep. And, his XBA is honestly a lot better than his actual batting averages. So his expected numbers are slightly better. He still has above average bat speed. Everything else is just not very, very good with him this year. So I'm hoping that this is not just a fluke 15-game stretch here for Michael Harris and that we can see him continue to keep this going, because the strikeouts aren't that high at only 14.3%. I wish he was walking a little bit more in this stretch, but when you're also hitting 400, it's not much walking for you to do when you go up there to the plate. So I love what Harris is doing, but Ethan, I want to let you take it here on the I love seeing Jeb comment, man.
Let's go, dude. You joined at the perfect time too.
He did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think all of us were Michael Harris believers going into the year. I mean, he's just too talented to like write off. And I think next year is going to be the year where he's going to be fully healthy. He's going to kind of put the struggles behind him. Down year kind of last year, definitely down year this year. If he can have a formidable second half like we've seen so far in like the 15 games, I think 2026 is the year for Michael Harris. I want to talk about one guy that I really expected to have a good second half. Not that the first half was bad in terms of his home runs and stuff like that. Salvador Perez had an OPS, I think it was just below 700 going into the All-Star break. He has been absolutely insane over his last 15 games. 7 bombs, 12 RBIs, 333 average, 377 OBP. He's slugging 754. You'll love to see that. 470 WOBA, 204 WRC plus. I love what the Royals have in terms of that young core. I like a little bit of the moves they made at the deadline. I love the Lugo lockup. I think it was 2 years, $46 million. That guy, I think a lot of people had him as a trade candidate. The Royals said, fuck that. We're going to extend this guy. We see a future. We've seen Bubic. We've seen Cole Reagans. We've seen even Noah Cameron kind of emerge this year.
Yeah.
So the fact that Salvador Perez is just stepping up as the leader that he has his entire tenure with Kansas City. And this is a guy that I just believed was going to have a really good second half, and he's certainly been showing it.
Yeah. I saw like recently he got hit by a pitch somewhere, and I believe came out of the game for that. I think that was like 3 or 4 days ago. I don't want to say how recent that is, but I think he's still healthy. So I'm not going to get into that too much. But I mean, whenever he has a down stretch, you always feel like it's only a matter of time before Salvi can get it going again. He's too good of a player. I mean, way too battle tested of a player to not in an AL Central not put together at least some part of a good stretch of a season. So he's doing that now. I mean, dude, the ISO's been sky high. Like he is hitting bombs right now. And that's
you'll take 7 home runs in 15 games for anyone. And I mean, like to what we've been saying, it was only a matter of time before Salvi like really stepped it up. Other than, Kyle Raleigh this year, most home runs ever by a backstop. So, I mean, he's just been constantly good for the Royals, and I'm just glad he's having a good second half because I think it was just bound to start heating up for him.
Yeah, and I think to myself all the time, when is the end going to be near for Salvi? I don't necessarily know if I've seen maybe the light at the end of the tunnel here with him yet. I don't know when the end is or when the curtain's going to drop for him because, when Blake Mitchell got drafted, I kind of thought to myself, as a lot of people did, like that's Salvi's replacement. If he's got a 2027, 2028, I think his initial ETA was 2027. I was like, that's going to be it for Salvi, I'm guessing, or that's going to be where he's kind of on his tail end of the career. But dude, I don't know if we're going to be seeing Salvi really try to back away from this until he's like 40. 35 right now.
This is his 5th straight year with at least 20 home runs. Like it's unbelievable. Salvador Perez right now is 30. I mean, he's still only 35. Like I know
He
that's still
ages like fine wine, man,
yeah.
honestly.
I think Salvi's got at least 2 to 3 years more cooking. Like maybe he's just
Oh, 100%.
DHing. He's not playing first. He's certainly not getting behind the plate. As just a hitter alone, he has at least 2 to 3 more seasons. The fact that he's already at 20 home runs, he's probably going to finish the year. You could, I mean, easily 25. If he goes really nuclear, you can maybe see 28 to 30. But Salvador Perez just continues to be super productive for the Royals.
Yeah, incredibly productive and always fun to watch too. Not like the flashiest brand of baseball ever, but with just how good this guy is when he's on, he's a really fun at bat every single time. Really uncomfortable for like every pitcher, which I think is awesome to see. Just the longevity that Salvador Perez has. I'm going to go down to a guy that I kind of highlighted earlier on my Twitter, and it's a bat from the Pittsburgh Pirates, who I don't know if he's 3 for 3, if he's gotten a third at bat yet today. He was 2 for 2 earlier when I was watching the Giants game. Spencer Horwitz has been unbelievable lately. And this is a guy that I feel like people just want to see get a consistent amount of run where he's healthy or where he just has a spot to play in the field. Because when he's healthy and when he's actually on the field, Ethan, he plays so good. His last 15 games, the average nearly at 350. It's at 346 right now. OBP at 433. Slug nearly at 600. He's hit 3 home runs. He's scored 9 runs and driven in 15 as well. I mean, for the Pirates, I don't know if it gets much better than that, honestly. He's been the best bat for them lately.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last year with Toronto and like a pretty decent sample size too. The WRC plus was over 125. I loved Horwitz going into the year. I know there was kind of some early season struggles and some other stuff going on, but Spencer Horwitz, there is a very, very talented bat there in Pittsburgh.
Very talented. I honestly just entire blueprint with him. His glove's really solid. His arm's not great, but his glove provides you 3 outs above average. Hits the sweet spot a lot on the bat, so that's really good to see. Chasing whiffs well above average as well. I mean, this kid's only 27. Like I feel kind of disrespectful calling him a kid, but I mean in the league that is a kid. Like he's only going to get more playing time and more run with the Pirates, and I think he's only going to continue to get better.
Right.
To me, this seems like he could be a type of player to be like a Brian Reynolds type of guy on the Pirates, just like the sneaky good bat on the Pirates every year that maybe doesn't get moved for anything, but you know what you're getting at him. He's just going to be good.
I think Spencer Horwitz could easily be a 20 home run guy with a 750 OPS. I have zero doubt that he could be that for the Pirates. Like I said, the size run that we saw in Toronto was fantastic. I know he had a couple good games in Cleveland towards the end of the year to wrap up the 2024 season, but I highlighted him a lot in the offseason. When it was before he got traded, it was like him, Junior. I was covering some like AL East team stuff, Jackson Holiday, and Horwitz was the guy I was circling for Toronto outside of Addison Barger. But I like the move for Pittsburgh. I think you could definitely see a really solid season from him next year too, especially if he continues like this in the second half, because we saw over the second half last year he was fantastic too.
Absolutely. And a little bit of news coming out of the NL Central. I just saw this when I peeked down at my phone here, Ethan, but a little interesting development in the Reds and Cubs game today. Both starters left after the second inning, not because they were getting hit around. Nick Lodolo left for a blister, but Michael Soroka has an undisclosed injury and had to leave after the second inning for the Cubs.
Yeah, not good.
That's not good at all.
Not good at all.
That's not, that's really not good at all. Any thoughts on that, or just not good at all?
Not good. The Lodolo thing, and to people watching too, like a blister might sound small though, but for a pitcher, especially a guy like Nick Lodolo that's spinning, back foot sliders to righties, and he's making them literally fall over, and he really has high RPMs, high spin rates. A blister for a pitcher is not good. The Soroka thing, I didn't see any clips on it. Hopefully, it is not arm related. I love that acquisition for the Cubs, but
it didn't look like he knew. It didn't look like he knew, and I'm sure you'll see the video here. Honestly, I'm going to send it to you real quick just so you can see for yourself. But it didn't look like Soroka really knew what it was with him, or looked like he knew, like, yeah, my UCL's just cooked. So
did you see Anthony today too? Anthony today got pulled 15 minutes before the game. He had like some back injury, and Wilyer Brave had to go into the game. So that's like, I know we talked about that. That's a massive thing for the Red Sox right now too. The fact that you're pulling Roman Anthony 15 minutes before the game, he can barely stretch. He had to actually just leave the field with the trainer. That's a massive blow for the Red Sox if that is any remotely of a serious injury.
Yeah, you hope to see Roman Anthony come back and not be hurt. Hopefully that's like back spasms or something. I don't know what that could be because I'm not an MLB trainer, or I was a journalism grad, so I don't have any type of knowledge towards the human body at all. So I have no idea what a back issue could look like for Roman Anthony, but hopefully he's all good there and is on the field quickly for the Red Sox. Because like Ethan said, that'd be a big blow. But huge. I think it's on you, Ethan. Anybody else that's been standing out to you here in the start off this second half? Or
fucking Bryce Harper, man. I mean, the guy today, Kyle Schwarber went deep, and then Bryce Harper hit one into the second deck. Absolutely no doubt about it. Bryce Harper continues to be unbelievable. I think at this point, he's just underrated. I think a lot of people expected him to be like this best player in baseball for multiple years. This guy has still been unbelievable throughout his career, and we're seeing it in the second half again. Bryce Harper in 15 games, not counting today's game, 6 home runs, 12 RBIs, walking 10.8% of the time. He's hitting .310 with a .385 OBP, .714 slug, .460 WOBA, .199 WRC plus. His updated numbers after the home run today: 17 bombs, 50 walks, 13.5% walk rate, 20.2% K rate, which is fantastic. 143 WRC plus. Bryce Harper continues to just absolutely mash with any single team that he plays on. This is a guy that the Phillies got really, really aggressive at the deadline. Duran's looked unbelievable for them coming out of the bullpen. You don't want to see Bryce Harper in the second half, and you certainly don't want to see that motherfucker in the playoffs. That guy absolutely turns it on in the playoffs. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Bryce Harper and from the Philadelphia Phillies because they have been on quite a run.
He's been hitting the crap out of the ball this year. I mean, like, his expected numbers, number one, are really good. His average exit velo is solid at 91.4. His barrel percentage is solid. He's in the 80th percentile for that, 85th percentile for hard hit rate, 95th percentile for sweet spot percentage. Like, walking a lot as well. Like, he's chasing and whiffing quite a bit this year, but everything else, man, he's mashing the ball and he's still getting on base at a 376 clip. So he's been nothing short of elite this year, virtually just providing value at the plate.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about Harper, too, is, like, you see Bryce Harper take his A swings all the damn time. Like, no doubts into the second deck at Citizens Bank. Opposite field, we saw it against the Padres last year off Robert Suarez in the playoffs. His B and C swings are unbelievable. Bryce Harper, if you want to just go and watch, not even his home runs, go watch his singles, his doubles, just any balls put in play. He is so good at just letting the barrel cast into the baseball. He's not getting beat by multiple pitch types, and he's able to just take so many different swings outside of his A swing, and that's something that I love watching from him. He's continuously done it ever since his rookie year.
He's so good at just attacking multiple different pitches, too, and I love how you kind of already brought that up, but he's so good against the fastball, and then he'll also beat you on a changeup. He'll beat you on a cutter, too. Like, other than, like, breaking pitches, there's not a lot of pitches you can throw at Bryce Harper to attack him with any sort of confidence at all. Because
I don't think a major league arm wants to really attack Bryce Harper. I don't think anyone in baseball wants to.
I'd be very surprised if you want to, because this guy's got, I mean, a near 23% pull air percentage. Like, if he's hitting the ball in the air and he's pulling on that ball, there's a good chance it's going in the second deck at Citizens Bank Park. Like,
100%.
He's been unreal. I mean, he slugs. His lowest slug on a pitch type is 400.
Yeah. No, Bryce Harper's been absolutely insane. And
yeah, I love that shout.
The first half was like kind of a slow start, and I think a lot of people were kind of getting down on him. But I mean, dude, we're literally looking at a future Hall of Famer, Bryce Harper. And like I said, when the playoffs come around, the Phillies are going to be there. We've seen Johan Duran's new entrance with them, which is fantastic. By the way, that's so damn cool with the spider walking out in center field.
Philly needs that. Philly needs that.
Oh yeah. Bryce Harper's heating up, and that's certainly not a team I want to face in October this year.
Hell no. You said future Hall of Famer. I'm going to keep the trend going here. Can we start putting more respect on the name that is Jose Ramirez?
Love that.
Because we have this, and we'll have this conversation every single year as long as he's on the Cleveland Guardians, because the fact of the matter is, if he's in that market, he could be playing up to the par of an MVP candidate, and he just won't get all the love in the world. But whenever I can, I want to give as much love to J-Ram as I possibly can. Last 16 games in the second half, he's walking 15% of the time, striking out almost under 4% of the time. Then he's hitting 344 with a 452 OBP, nearly slugging 700 with 5 bombs, 17 runs, 11 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases.
I think it's like 7 consecutive, I think it's like 7 consecutive 20 seasons for Jose Ramirez. Like it makes absolutely no sense.
He's consistent. Like he might be the most consistent player in baseball.
I mean, I think him, as far as like position players and pitchers wise, Zach Wheeler and Jose Ramirez in each of their respective crafts, I think are the 2 most underrated players consistently. If Jose Ramirez was playing in the New York market, the LA market, he would be talked about like some of these superstars. I mean, even like, I mean, you could even say maybe like not a superstar guy right now. He'd probably be getting talked about more than like a guy like Will Smith, who's casually, I think currently the 3rd highest WRC plus among catchers in MLB history in a single season right now. If he keeps it up, Jose Ramirez outside of that market would go crazy too.
Dude, he doesn't want to go out of that market, but I wish he would, for his sake, man. I mean, he's had every big moment you could like probably want to be like one of the faces of the league. Like the down goes Anderson clip is so classic.
He kicked the shit out of Tim Anderson.
He ended Tim Anderson's career. He was never the same afterwards. But like, I mean, if you make the argument this guy doesn't make a lot of highlight level plays, he just is just so consistently good that he's just not a flashy brand of baseball. You can't argue that because he's having like 40 years and consistent 20 years. Like it's just like it makes it look easy on a monthly basis. I mean, he's had multiple 200 WRC plus months this year, sitting 316 right now as far as his WRC plus is right now in August. Granted, it's only been 4 days. I don't know how much that's going to dip down, and he might have another 200 WRC plus month there. So we'll see. I think J-Ram deserves every bit of flowers he can get given to him, and he's been so solid to start the second half off.
I got to go with someone who we were preaching. Toby and I are fans of players that maybe not everyone likes. We love Brett Beatty. I like a couple. Like I get a little bit of like the shittier tier players, but the players that there's potential.
No, we love our Michael Toglias. That don't get it twisted.
Michael Toglia just got sent down to AAA, which is like one of the most heartbreaking.
More reason to watch Isotopes games. I don't care.
Yeah. You gotta watch him. I'm shouting out a guy that we have talked about multiple times on the show, even before the move was made, because we just believe in the profile. Andrew Vaughn has been unbelievable for the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll go into the numbers in a little bit, but the sheer value that he's provided the clubhouse and just a winning culture that the Brewers just continue to do. They lose Corbin Burns, they lose Devin Williams, they lose all these guys, and they consistently go out there and are just dogs. Every single one of these years that they put out, you know what the Brewers are going to do. They're going to go in the playoffs. They're going to try and make a run. They're going to scrap together. They play a great brand of baseball. They can beat you in multiple different ways on the bases with Sal Frelick. They can beat you in the power department with a guy like Christian Yelich and Jackson Chourio, and they can pitch their asses off. They play great defense. They have a great winning culture, and I love everything about it. Andrew Vaughn, not counting today, 14 games, 4 bombs, 14 RBIs, 358 average, 410 OBP, 623 slugging, 183 WRC plus. He has had, I think, more RBIs in his Brewers tenure than he did all year with the Chicago White Sox. It is unbelievable what Andrew Vaughn has been able to do. The power numbers, the run production, the Brewers record with him on the team. I think at one point they were like 9-0 or 8-0 in the Andrew Vaughn era. The Brewers are surprising a lot of people this year. Again, really not surprising to most people that watch baseball. And recently it's been a lot to do with Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah, dude. You got to just love what you're seeing from Andrew Vaughn, because if you can't root for this guy, you just don't really like good and heartwarming stories in sports, because this has just been everything of that since he's been with the Brewers. And in the second half, like you already mentioned, has been unreal. The advanced profile looks so good. And I'm just going to, dude, if you compare last year to this year, this advanced profile is night and day. Everything looks like it's improved across the board. His squared up percentage is unreal in the 91st percentile, 89th percentile for hard hit rate, 88th for average exit velo. He's hitting the crap out of the baseball. And I think I want to say like 99.9% sure you said it. Easiest change of scenery candidate you could ever ask for. And he proved it there.
Look at every player that has left the White Sox recently. Almost every single, I mean, dude, even Adrian Hauser with the rate, like he's probably going to cook. It is remarkable when you get a guy in a lineup where he's not going to be we've talked about it so many times on the show. If you get a guy that is a circled in number 2, number 3 guy, and you go to a stacked lineup where you're going to be the number 5, number 6, and especially the Brewers alone, one of the best player development organizations in baseball. We see it a lot with pitchers. Position players, they have done the exact same thing. I just love what I'm seeing from Andrew Vaughn. The White Sox, I think, stunted his development really bad. I think they were calling him up too early. I don't think they were allowing him to really work in the minors. He's just been so good, and I have loved Andrew Vaughn for years, and all the Andrew Vaughn truthers can finally rise up because he's been incredible for the Brewers. It's been unreal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun to watch. The Brewers are always just so much fun to watch because they can do this with literally anybody. Like, Garrett Mitchell will hit tanks for them in the postseason, and Garrett Mitchell's great, but he's not been very healthy. So,
God, give me a healthy Garrett Mitchell. He's so
dude,
talented.
You're telling me. I want to keep this like trend of the young guys going because a lot of young guys have been really impressive to start out the second half. One of them being a player on the Cubs by the name of Matt Shaw.
Love it.
Now, this was a guy that I had as my Cubs breakout pick for 2025. Literally the cover for that entire thread, Ethan, and we talked about that before the show being like, honestly, at this point, I want to say like my 15 minutes of fame on this app, but he's starting to break out now. And I'm hoping that this extends for a longer period of time so I can victory lap this at the end of the season. Last 15 games, he's hitting nearly 330. His OBP's at 340. Slugs nearly at 675 there at 674. And I believe he's got, 4 home runs, and I believe 7 runs and 10 runs batted in, along with 3 stolen bases. So Shaw, like J-Ram, doing a little bit of everything.
Right.
I love what this guy brings to the table for the Cubs, especially in the bottom of the order, if the Cubs are going from top to bottom. And, I mean, I thought he was going to be like a Nick Kurtz type of guy or a Jacob Wilson type of guy where he was going to see success right away in the big leagues. He didn't. I got a little bit more worried than I thought I should have. Maryland product's up now, and he's raking, and I love seeing it.
No, I mean, absolutely. I think Shaw provides a lot of depth for the Cubs lineup. I know defensively it's like kind of still of a work in progress, but we've seen his numbers in the minors. They're absolutely incredible. We saw what he did with Team USA, I think, over the offseason too. So
yep.
He's been unbelievable, and the Cubs, I mean, the Brewers are kind of still like catching up to them, and that's going to be a fun race to see. But if Matt Shaw can keep this going, it makes that race even better for Major League Baseball.
I like how you mentioned he provides depth for them, and I got to think he must love playing with a guy like Justin Turner, a vet of the position who's been through pretty much everything that you could ask to be through in a major league career. And I'm sure, Shaw's learning a lot, and I'm sure that's helping him quite a bit. Offers him a lot of speed too. I didn't realize he has 29 feet per second on his sprint speed.
I didn't either.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good. 90th percentile for sprint speed. So Matt Shaw, I hope you can continue this because at age 23, I'd love to be able to victory lap a breakout here.
I think I'm going to go with kind of a younger guy. I think this is a guy a lot of people were writing off. He was very injury riddled last season, and he was leading among hits since his major league debut up until a little bit around last season to a certain point. Bo Bichette. Yeah. Bo Bichette currently leads Major League Baseball in hits. Yes, I know Aaron Judge has been hurt. We don't kind of really know what's going on with that. But we can look at the last 17 games, but just in general, Bo Bichette is just back. They need to extend him. We've seen what they've just done with Vladdy kind of heating up. Bo Bichette, Addison Barger breakout. Some of the guys in the rotation for the Blue Jays just absolutely balling out. But even if we look at the last 17 games for Bo Bichette, the power numbers aren't really going to be there. I'm looking at the fact that he's striking out under 10% of the time. 375 average, 416 OBP, 528 slug, 166 WRC plus. I'm just loving the overall profile for Bo Bichette too. I think he just provides unreal just organizational depth for the team, especially in the offensive department. And I just love what I'm seeing from him.
Yeah, I think not only is this just a great player to have on your offense, but dude, I mean, his dad's got big league pedigree in him. Like that alone, I always love with guys in the MLB and having long and successful careers. Bo Bichette's putting it together in a year where he really has to right now, and I could not be happier to. I mean, I probably could have taken this like another year, not when like the Yankees need AL East teams to slump, but I mean, for Bo Bichette's sake, it's really great to see because he's kind of been getting written off, I'd say, by quite a lot of people. So see what he's doing now, and not even just in the second half, but kind of the whole year, he's been great.
I mean, even if you look at his numbers from last season, Bo Bichette was hitting 230 on fastballs. So it's up to 305. The XBA is 316. If you want to look at the XBA in general, he's in the top 1% at 308. So his 297 average on the year should be better. His xWOBA should be better than his WOBA. His X slugging is more than his slugging. And just the overall off-speed pitches, too. He's hitting $150 on off-speed. It's up to 333 this year. Bo Bichette is healthy. The injuries are beside him that we saw last season. The Blue Jays are surging, and a lot of it has to do with a guy like Bo Bichette.
Yeah, and, you know, it's a lot to do with guys like Vlad Jr. and Bo Bichette. But their younger guys have stepped up really well, too. Addison Barger, a name that you expected to step up a lot, in that you can victory lap that all you want, Ethan. A guy that I want to talk about now is on the Blue Jays, and this is a guy who, you know, has kind of been, you could maybe label as a quad A player because of how much he's dominated AAA, but just hasn't been able to put it together at the big league level. We saw him play in Houston, and then he got moved over to Toronto. Joey Loperfido, to start off this second half, has been unreal. And like a lot of the guys on the Blue Jays, Loperfido has been just crazy productive at the plate. Over his last 17 games, hitting 380, 426, 540 with 2 bombs, 7 runs, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base as well. He's been doing a little bit of everything. And like I said, he's kind of been a quad A player most of his career, at least to this point. I want to shout out Prospect Savant, but if you go and look up his profile from 2024 when he was in AAA, dude, he hit the crap out of the baseball. I mean, he was, and I'm looking now, he was like 86 to like higher on pretty much every percentile in terms of like EVs and hard hit rate, 98 percentile in barrel rate in AAA. So you got to think that there's something there. You then look at his 2025 profile in AAA, Ethan, and you know his max EV is still really good. So you know there's that potential to hit the ball really hard. Expected numbers are great. Swing percentage, Z swing percentage, that's all great. But the profile as a whole kind of dipped a little bit.
Right.
I'm really happy to see that he's putting it together now at the big league level because I think it is in there in the tank for him. I'm just wondering if it's as sustainable as over like a 20 game stretch. I don't know if you think that this is just kind of a heater for Loperfido. I kind of tend to lean that way here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a short sample size I think is helping him. I don't really know what a profile looks on him, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's kind of comparable to what we kind of seen from Addison Barger this year. I know that he was pretty highly regarded with Houston, but I like what he's been doing recently, and hopefully that's another guy, you know, again next year that steps up for the Blue Jays, who a lot of people had him finishing last this year. They're currently, you know, first place in the AL East, so that's a guy that has another step up in 2026. It only helps the Blue Jays going forward.
100%, man. 100%. There's a lot of young guys on this list that I kind of want to talk about, honestly, but
honestly, I'm going with a guy that I'll give you your flowers, and I didn't agree with you at all on this when I saw it. But Anthony Volpe has been unbelievable in the second half. Toby was getting a little bit of slack. You guys can kind of shut up about it. Anthony Volpe, one, absolutely dominated the Rays, had a multi-home run series against the Rays, had multiple home runs, I think, in the Marlins series too. Yep. And if you want to look at his last 16 games, Anthony Volpe has 7 home runs. In the game against the Rays, 452 feet, it was Anthony Volpe's farthest career home run to like dead center field. Yep. Granted, it was off Kevin Kelly, but the point still stands. He has been unbelievable. And honestly, since the A-Rod interview where he's like, Anthony Volpe can't be this like power hitting shortstop that doesn't hit for a high average, he's been kind of telling everyone to like shut up and just watch him play baseball. He's been unbelievable. 7 home runs in his last 16 games. He's not walking remotely, but the power number is still there. Not walking remotely. 163 WRC plus. Who do you think has the highest WRC plus over the last 2 weeks for the Yankees? It's not Cody Bellinger. It's not Trent Grisham. It's not Jason Dominguez. It's not Giancarlo Stanton. It's Anthony Volpe.
That's it. Who has the most errors on the Yanks?
who has the most errors at shortstop? Anthony Volpe.
Yep.
But that's honestly one thing. I mean, you watch more Yankees than I do. He was great last year with the glove. What the hell has happened with that? He went from being arguably the best defender at shortstop with guys like Bobby Witt Jr. to being almost a liability this year. Like it's not even just fielding the ball, throwing the ball, just quick flips to second base, mental errors. I don't know what's happened with him at shortstop.
I feel like it's got to be all mental for him. Like he has the yips, like the type of yips where like, and one of my teammates had this growing up where he was a catcher and I forget when this was, but I think it was when we were practicing inside because there was snow everywhere. And he like threw a softball back to like the pitcher as like a joke because he had a softball next to him. From that point on in the season, he just couldn't throw a baseball. Like he would literally have to like almost underhand it back to this kid was a really good catcher too. Like he was the guy you wanted behind the plate, but he couldn't throw to save his life. And it was so funny because we all played with this kid for like 10 plus years. And now all of a sudden he can't throw a baseball. Like that's what I feel like Volpe's going through where like he's made so many boneheaded plays where he now can't even make a throw from short to first. Like you've noticed that. Like I know you said you don't watch a lot of Yankee games, but
I've noticed like it's everything.
Every throw he makes is not made on the fly.
Yeah, and I mean maybe like I'm wrong too, but like I've seen it a few times. He gets bailed out sometimes too. So realistically, like he probably could have more errors than the I think 16 or 17 that he's already had.
Yep, I bet you're not wrong there. And I think a lot of the offensive success, and I really didn't want to say this, but I think there's kind of a bit of truth to it, is that he's trying to compensate for making these errors, and he's trying to really like make up for how bad he's been in the field. That he's just doing something else with the bat right now. Because eventually that's going to stop.
Judge's not in the lineup. Like maybe Anthony Volpe was like, damn, like I really got to step up until like this guy gets back, and he's just like.
I hope they're all thinking that. I hope so.
I hope so too. I mean, just granted your Yankees in general. I know you didn't go to the game where Jazz was literally 10 feet off first base. The ball was hit to the second baseman and he's like literally not getting back to the bag and gets like picked up. The whole vibe there is weird. And it has to play into the defense because he was so good last year. He's -6 OAA. No one watching this.
Shortstop. He has a gold glove.
No one watching this would think that Anthony Volpe has -6 OAA. Like going into the year was like, yeah, like Anthony Volpe is going to have a drastic downturn in terms of his defensive profile. And it's not fielding. It's mental errors. It's throwing. It's every part of being a shortstop Anthony Volpe has done. And there's plenty of hits too that I've seen that are scored as hits that probably should not be scored as hits.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad you did. I'm not going to lie. I don't think anything else needs to be said about Anthony Volpe. I think that's pretty good there. I'm gonna move on to a guy that Ethan. I don't know if I've talked about this player much. I'm pretty sure I brought him up maybe once recently, but just seeing this guy healthy and swinging the bat healthy, it's not really much of a surprise to me that this is a guy that I'm talking about here. Because while Minnesota had a fire sale and got rid of a lot of their guys, it's made room for guys like Edouard Julien to come back up. And now Royce Lewis, who's finally healthy again, is swinging a really good, you like that, really good hot bat. 333 average, 357 OBP, 611 slug. He's got 3 homers, 7 runs, 9 RBIs, a stolen base. When Royce Lewis is stealing bases, I think he's pretty good to go.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I think it was last episode or the episode before.
It was like one of us brought him up.
It was like an 80 or 90 game sample size. He just hadn't been good. I think a lot of it had to do with injuries, and the talent is like still there. You just like it's kind of like Michael Harris, what we talked about earlier. We saw what Michael Harris did in his rookie year. We saw what Royce Lewis did. I think it was 162 game sample size. He was one of the best players in baseball, let alone in his division on his team. He looked like a bona fide superstar. It was just the hamstring injuries and the leg injuries and like whatever was going on with him. I just need to see Royce Lewis stay healthy. I don't really need to look at the profile all that much in front of me because we've seen the talent already displayed. Yeah. Once he's healthy, once he's playing every single day, getting consistent ABs, and the Twins are playing better baseball, I think Royce Lewis is going to step up again next year because he's too talented of a ball player to have been slumping in the first half.
I don't think people really understand how good his defense is, too, because of how often he's not on the field. But this guy's 88th percentile for range and has 3 outs above average. Like, he will give you a very good third base position there at D. And then, it just feels like his OPS has been way better than 686. But, I mean, I feel like that's only going to continue to climb up.
Yeah, I think that game that we talked about 2 episodes ago, his 2 home run game in Colorado, he raised his WRC plus by, I think, 30 points. Like, he was doing that.
He's going to see some, I think, drastic improvements in his numbers for the end of this year. He's only 26.
Yeah, no, I remember watching Royce Lewis in spring training when he was like he was the number 1 prospect in the Twins system. I've seen Royce Lewis for multiple years growing up, and just the talent has always been there. He's still young. That is a guy that the Twins are going to continue to build around with guys like a Byron Buxton. So
yeah, I mean, I know OD kind of made a joke, like, do they have a team to field out in the second half? But this is part of why I hate teams necessarily fire sailing at the deadline if they don't see like a point in really trying for the rest of the year, because it allows me to watch these guys that I don't pay enough attention to.
I think it's a whole organizational change. The trade with the Phillies. Granted, they probably really like Mick Abel. Tait's going to be a stud. That's going to be a catcher that you see for the next. He'll probably be ready in 2 years.
Yeah, I don't think it's
probably even less than that. Maybe like a year, honestly. And then they go and get Taj Bradley. Granted, Griffin Jacks had years of control and stuff like that, but they're definitely targeting some guys that they really like. They're bolstering the farm system, and they're still going to build around guys like Byron Buxton, who has said multiple times on record and has the no trade clause. He loves it in Minnesota, and I think Royce Lewis is the same scenario. Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, some of these up-and-coming guys that are going to be in the rotation and in the everyday lineup, that's what Minnesota is doing. It's a whole organizational change, a whole different philosophy of how they want to win, and I don't necessarily disagree with it.
I'd be really interested to see the MLB do a player survey, how they do for the NFL, where they survey players and think how well are you taken care of by your actual team. I would love to see what players have to say about Minnesota, because I've never seen a player say a bad thing about them. And I feel like if Byron Buxton wants to stay there, more than anything, it's got to be a pretty damn good place to place.
I would say the deadline. I would say just a little bit of the deadline ruined it. Griffin Jacks, I don't know if you know, it came out today. He demanded a trade from them.
Really?
Once they sold kind of everything, there was a little bit of a disagreement with him and Rocco Baldelli. I think Willie Castro got taken out of the game, and it was it's not for trade stuff, and we know what happened kind of with that. And that might have stung a little bit, because I think a lot of people in that clubhouse were not expecting that big of a sale. I know a lot of people were if you were mentioning Griffin Jacks and Johan Duran getting traded, you were on crack. No one really kind of had that coming. I don't even know who I would have thought would have been. Maybe Jacks a little bit more. But dude, they traded 2 guys who had, I think, a combined 4 years of control. I don't know. I think the deadline might have ruined it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Carlos Correa, there's a reason why Byron Buxton has a full no trade clause, and he doesn't want to get traded from there. We saw it in the All-Star game pregame interview when the media was around him. Hey, there's rumors about you getting traded and moved. He's like, I don't listen to that. I'm here in Minnesota. That's where I want to be. It's where my family is. I trust the organization. And I think that speaks volumes, especially with some of these young guys coming up. That's a veteran leader that they're building around, and a young up-and-coming guy like Royce Lewis, who's, 26 years old, which honestly, I didn't know either. I thought he was probably 27, 28.
I want to see Julian get it going at the big league level again. I mean, he's been in St. Paul for so long, this year, and
the power's nuts with him. We've seen it too.
People love when I take him for home run props, or even when I threw him on the hitters to watch parlay today, and people love that. They were calling him King Julian.
Toby went 3 for 3 in the prop.
Dude, I went 5 for 6 the last 2 nights. So I've been kind of feeling a little burnt out by doing those. I'm not gonna lie. I I normally check, and normally I don't have to check. Normally people like, and I'm, at this point, I actually feel very grateful for this because people will normally comment when I actually hit the prop, so I don't have to look. But
Right.
the last 2 days, I would have completely missed myself clean sweeping yesterday if I forget who it was, but someone left a comment on it that was like impressive, nicely done. It was like a GIF of it or something, and I was like, no way. This Shout out Mickey Moniak, man. Seriously, shout out Mickey Moniak.
Dude, Mickey Moniak has been. I was going to mention him, but I did like a whole deep dive on Mickey Moniak, so I'm not going to kind of waste my time again on that. I will say I was so wrong about this. I still think the package for Randy Rosarena was great. Aiden Smith has really been stepping it up over the last month, and Brody Hopkins, I don't know if you even saw his last start, 10 Ks. He has to be getting the call to AAA at any point now. He is disgusting. The fact still stands. Randy Rosarena has been unbelievable this year, and it's not even just, this is a career year for Randy Rosarena. If you want to look at the second half, 16 games, or 17 games, excuse me, 5 home runs, 242 average, 319 OBP, 138 WRC plus on the entire year. Randy Rosarena needs one more home run for a career high. He's walking at a pretty solid clip, and actually more than some of the seasons he had in Tampa Bay. He has a 137 WRC plus, which is 10 points higher than his career highest or previous career highest in 2021. And he only needs 0.6 F4 to have a career season. Randy Rosarena is still a staple in Major League Baseball. I thought he was going to decline this year. He told everyone, screw that. I'm going to go out there and ball out. And you can even stretch it for over like more than that 17 game sample size that I just read off. The last like month and a half, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. I think it was like 7 home runs in like 11 games or 8 home runs in 11 games. It was like a nightly basis where you're seeing like playoff Randy, but in the regular season, and it was every single day. If the Mariners get into the postseason and we're seeing Randy Rosarena taking that short, compact swing that a lot of us Rays fans were used to, not overextending the barrel, not whiffing at pitches out of the zone, with guys like Kyle Raleigh and Julio Rodriguez, who it's like death taxes and Julio Rodriguez big second half. The Mariners are just scary. And Randy Rosarena, I will be completely wrong about, and I will accept it. I was very wrong on him going into this year. Extremely wrong.
Yeah, I had the same kind of expectations for Rosarena that you did too. I just thought that he couldn't turn it up in a place more than that. That was Tampa. I thought Tampa was his spot, and I thought Seattle just, it wasn't like his place that he could do it. I don't think that anymore about him for sure. But I mean, dude, seeing what he's been doing the entire season's been awesome. And I mean, I love how you kind of mentioned the Mariners as a whole. I thought the few deadline moves they did make were really good.
Oh
I thought
my God, yeah.
I mean, I can't say a single bad thing about any move that they made. They scare me a lot going down the stretch of the season. As a fan of the AL team, they scare me a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was a team that we mentioned a few episodes ago. This had to be the year that they went all in with moves. And to be honest with you, and I don't know if you agree with me, I don't think they moved that much. They didn't move that much to acquire some of the talent that they got. I thought a guy like Emerson was going to be like, I thought some of these big guys were just going to be on for them. And they didn't move anyone significant. They get Josh Naylor. They get Eugenio Suarez. They get Caleb Ferguson. You bolster your 2 middle infield corners, and you get Caleb Ferguson, who has been the best soft contact pitcher in baseball under the Mariners umbrella. Bro, like, good luck with that rotation with Randy Rosarena, with Kyle Raleigh, who's going to have literally the best offensive season we've ever seen from a catcher. Even like Dominic Canzone, like Dominic Canzone's been good this year. Luke Raley is like kind of a bench platoon neutral bat. Like, sign me up for that any day of the week. He literally had the highest slugging percentage against four-seam fastballs last year in baseball. It's like, dude, the Mariners are scary. They went out and they made some moves, and like you said a few minutes ago, I do not want to face them in October if we make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, not at all. Oh my God, not at all. Bullpen really scares me. Lineup really scares me. And I don't think anything needs to be said about how scary that starting rotation is
No.
especially
Oh
with how
no.
good Luis Castillo's been the last month. I mean, imagine he keeps it going for the rest of the year, like the
No,
way
we
he
could
has
talk
been.
about that rotation for probably an hour, to be honest.
Yeah, we probably could. So, I mean, come postseason time, that might be something you guys see here on Inside the Diamond. But Mariners are scary, and part of the reason why they are scary is because they added Josh Naylor to their corner infield. And I was really not a big fan of the Guardians getting rid of Josh Naylor, and say what you want about that. They want to make room for Kyle Manzardo.
I'm good. I'm
You're
good
good
on
on
that one,
you're
Chief.
good on that one. Well,
I'm
I
good
mean,
on that
the
one.
second half, Kyle Manzardo's been really damn good. Ethan, he's hitting 341. He has a 412 OBP, near 600 slug, few homers, 11 RBIs. Does that sway you at all, or is this just a heater for you? Because this is another one like kind of like Joey Loperfido, where I feel like maybe this one's going to be a little bit harder to maintain.
No, he was in our system in Tampa for a few years. He was just
Yeah,
kind of log jammed with Jonathan Aranda and Yandy Diaz, and even when Brandon Lau was playing first base when guys went down, so he had literally no spot on the field. Um, the profile is like, dude. I mean, Kyle Manzardo hits the absolute ever living shit out of the baseball when he gets hot. So I don't think this is like kind of a flash in the pan. I mean, there's no way he's going to hit over 300 in like a big sample size.
hell no.
But this is a guy that could easily be a 25 plus home run bat for years to come, even if he's hitting low 200s. But if he's like a 110 to 115 WRC plus with 25 bombs, it's a solid move.
Yeah.
Do you think long term it's better than Josh Naylor though?
No, I never have, honestly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to shout out Manzardo now because I
think that's great.
In all honesty, I saw that he was doing good for like the last 2 weeks, like a long time. I don't want to say like a long time ago, like a day ago maybe, and I just wanted to bring it up. Honestly, I think that he deserves at least some sort of flowers here at some point.
Right.
So.
We talked about one of the best feel good stories in baseball with Andrew Vaughn. I'm going to the South Side. Colson Montgomery has been unbelievable for the White Sox. And we talked about it a few episodes ago about how he went down to the complex league, fixed his swing. There were definitely some holes in it. Even when he was making some hard contact in AAA this year before he got sent back down, it was like loopy, like not even just like hard contact. The home runs he was hitting weren't like no doubters. It would just like kind of flaring like line drives over the fence. Went down, he fixed everything. He has been unreal, Toby. 7 home runs in 15 games, 21 RBIs. Funny thing enough, I think he's actually the only player in the second half, or one of the only, that hasn't drawn a walk. 397 ISO, 259 average, 259 OBP, granted because he hasn't had a walk. Slugging 655, 146 WRC plus. I saw him hit an absolute bomb against Taj Bradley. He did it the day after. And then I think he's had a few, he had a few in the Angels series too. Like Colson Montgomery with some of that White Sox core is going to be very formidable. And this might be a hot take too. I am so glad. Granted, I know I made a little bit of a video on it. I'm so glad they didn't trade Luis Robert. A lot of these guys that have been really good for the White Sox is because Luis Robert is still there. You're seeing Chase Meinroth do good. Kyle Teal is going to be the catcher of the future. You're seeing Colson Montgomery. Like, there are plenty of guys. I mean, dude, even Andrew Benintendi, for Christ's sake, has been pretty solid recently. I think he's approaching 20 home runs too, whether you want to talk about his defense and stuff like that. But
I don't.
I'm glad that they, yeah.
He made a really good play out there the other day, though. I will say he took one back the other day.
Yeah. Shout out Yankees legend Andrew Benintendi. But yeah, I'm glad they kept Luis Robert, and I think a lot of it is rubbing off on a guy like Colson Montgomery. He's been great. I mean, 7 home runs in the second half. Let's see, there are 2 guys. He's one of 5 players to have at least 7 home runs in the second half. So that's been really good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you brought up Colson Montgomery for many reasons. Obviously, the prospect hugger in me was not even anywhere close to ready to let go of Montgomery and think that he was washed as a prospect. I love how you mentioned his swing changes down in the complex and how he kind of fixed himself there. MLB Pipeline doesn't even think he's the best Montgomery in their system anymore. So for him to come up and do what he's doing is such a promising look for just the entire team. I was really worried about him, especially last year. He hit like 214 or something
Oh
on the
yeah,
entire
just
year in
brutal.
AAA
Right.
when he was supposed to have a massive year. So, I mean, this just it proves to show. I mean, we say this more than anything on the show, but prospect progress is never going to be linear.
No.
And this is one of the most nonlinear paths I've ever seen a top prospect take to the bigs and take to like immediate success. And I
Yeah,
love seeing
and
it from Colson Montgomery.
even before you probably get into one of your final guys, really quick, it shows his character too. This guy was a top,
100%.
still a top prospect. He's in AAA. He gets sent down to essentially rookie ball, complex league. A lot of these guys in that league are just starting out or rehabbing. The
Or
fact
kids.
that he goes down there, or 17 or 18-year-old kids that have, some of them haven't even been to America before, and he's going down there fixing his swing. He's not bitching about it. He goes down there, does his work, and he's balling at the MLB level. That I love more than any of the stats that I've seen. The fact that he didn't complain, he loved going down there, working with, I think, one of the former Orioles coaches that was in their system, changed his swing, and the results have been great. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Colson Montgomery.
Yeah, I mean, it's just awesome to see. It's a feel-good story at the end of the day. I mean,
Right.
You want to root for the guy that worked so hard to make the adjustments. And, I saw, I want to shout out Nate Rasmussen because I saw a clip of him on a White Sox pod talking about how with their pitchers, at least, like especially the left-handed guys like Schultz and Hagen Smith, they've identified stuff that they want them to work on. And now they're kind of going through that. Like the White Sox are very good at and this is kind of ironic because they're not a good team, but like they notice internally in their farm what players need to improve on, and they will do anything to get those players to actually improve upon that. And that's case in point what they did with a guy like Colson Montgomery. So I love it. I love that shout from you. And I'm trying to find who I want to talk about next because I kind of had a 2-for-1 that I was maybe thinking about here.
I like a little 2-for-1 action.
I think I'm going to do a little 2-for-1 here.
Do a 2-for.
The Contreras brothers have been really good this second half.
Love that.
Wilson and William have both, I feel like we've talked about one more than the other, and it's been William for this, last few seasons. But
right.
Wilson's doing solid, man. And both of these guys, hard hit rate around 64%. So, I mean, if you didn't know they were brothers, I mean, all you have to do is look at the hard hit percentage leaderboards. You could probably guess those two are related, separated by 0.7%. Which I think is so cool. But they're EVing both. They're averaging around 95 on the EV, around 107 on max EVs. And then, Wilson's barreling the ball up a lot better, but both are slugging well over 500 over the course of this second half. This is pretty cool. Seeing a pair of brothers do pretty damn good at the same time in the second half. I mean, do you think they're talking to each other like, hey man, we're doing like pretty like very similar, like, production wise, like we should keep it going?
Yeah, I mean, I know they're really close, but like, dude, could you imagine being like their dad, being like, oh yeah, like my kids are like balling at the MLB level. My son going into this year was a lot of people's number one catchers going into the year. Yeah. But yeah, the fact that they're both kind of rebounding, the fact that they've just been really tight knit. I think there was like some funny clips of when they eventually met for the first time at the MLB level and played their first game in Milwaukee. But I love the shout. I'm a huge 2-for guy. Big on the Contreras brothers, and hopefully, especially for a guy like William, I think William has to have a really solid season next year to kind of jump back up those rankings. But I think just Wilson over the last several years has been just hitting the shit out of the baseball. I think he's been a little underrated recently just because the Cardinals haven't been too good except for this year. Yeah. So yeah, I like the little 2-for action, and like I said, I think William Contreras has to go off next year because he was, for a lot of people, including myself, which by the way, I actually had Cal Raleigh as my number one catcher going into the year, but
good for you, man.
William Contreras, I think has to kind of go off next year to kind of be solidified in that like top 3 to 5 range again.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that for sure. Yeah, good for you having Raleigh as your number one. But you have anybody that you want to go with for one of your final guys here, or?
I want to go with maybe one of your Yankees. You know what? Nah,
no, you have to.
No, I'll really quick. Giancarlo Stanton has been great. Cody Bellinger have been great. One guy that I think was 100% gonna. Really?
Yeah. So that's now 3 straight days with a home run prop hit. By the way,
good for you. Good for you, babe.
Appreciate it.
Do you have one more guy, or do you want me to end on my final one and then we're good?
You got it, man. I'm on my little twofer.
Okay. One guy that I think me and you both had definitely getting traded. The Angels kind of said we're going sort of all in. They didn't go all in, but they certainly didn't trade that many guys. I thought Taylor Ward was almost a lock to be a San Diego Padre.
Especially earlier in the year too.
Yeah. I thought he was pretty much locked to do that. Taylor Ward has been really good in the second half. 5 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's actually facing the Rays tonight. Please, for the love of God, do not destroy the Rays. We need badly to get back on the hump of playing some winning baseball. 262 average, 348 OBP, 574 slugging with a 152 WRC plus. Taylor Ward just continues to be an absolute beast on the year. 26 bombs with 82 RBIs. Dude, Taylor Ward's on pace to have like 120 RBI season. 30 plus home runs, 120 plus RBIs. And I'm really glad the Angels did not move off from this guy, because him and a guy like Joe Adell, shout out FAU, your alum, Noah Shenua has been good. Mm-hmm. Zach Neto kind of been slumping, but we know Zach Neto at one point was over his last 162 games, was a 30-30 guy. I like that little core that the Angels have. Dude, get some starting pitching, and the Angels have a solid team.
Yeah. Oh my God, 100%. I want to see the Angels be good. So
I think everyone in baseball wants to see the Angels be good, except if you're like a Dodgers fan.
I love the Ward shout. I think he had a walk-off bomb yesterday too. So, I mean, he's been playing awesome the whole year. But Ethan, man, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed taking that hour to just talk about some guys that have been really damn good so far through the second half. But little bit of housekeeping before we get out of here. Ethan and I both dropped like prospect related threads and blogs today on our respective Twitter accounts that are linked right here below our webcams. If you just type in that name for any of us, you'll be able to find us there on social media, particularly Twitter for me, but pretty much everything for you, Ethan, I'm pretty sure. So go check that out. Ethan broke down Spencer Jones. I broke down Carson Bench. So those are doing pretty good on Twitter right now. So if you guys want to take a look at some prospect deep dives, go for that there. Other than that, I mean, I imagine we'll be back here pretty soon within the next couple of days to do another show. Talked about all hitters today because it's been like 15 games of the second half. So when more second half,
I'm not going to cover a pitcher that's had 2 starts
twice. Yeah, no, we're not going to. So hope you guys could at least understand that. We appreciate the people who commented a little bit through the beginning of the show. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. And if you've tuned in live, if you're one of the over 700 people, we appreciate you a ton. So thank you guys for all the continuous support. Subscribe to the YouTube if you haven't already. I keep forgetting almost to say that, but that is pretty important. Subscribe to the YouTube. Go follow us on X. Stay up to date on everything. Ethan, you got anything else for him before we send it off, or are we good?
The Rays need to start winning some baseball games. I'll say that. Otherwise, this team is going to still be in first place in the division.
Yeah, the Yankees need to start winning. Games. Yankees need to start winning. We need to figure out what's good with Max Fried because he doesn't look right. But thank you all for watching. Hope the Yankees turn it around. Hope the Rays turn it around. We'll see you guys next time here on Inside the Diamond. But until then, have a great rest of your night.